problem with Shabana making these promises, I'm not sure it's going to turn voters from Reform to Labour. I mean, it was only 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was 2021, Shabana is filmed advocating for a general amnesty of illegal migrants.
Trump said he was going to drain the swamp. That was during his first campaign. This would be a big old drain on the swamp. There's clearly Epstein was friends with a lot of rich and powerful men.
It seems to be only British high-profile people that seem to have the spotlight on them, and it's now time to turn that spotlight over to the US.
If you were going to go to Twickenham to watch the rugby and they were putting subtitles on it in pink and they're saying, hey, hot girl summer girls, get a try.
Matcha,
Barbie. Yeah, would that make you more interested in going and watching the rugby?
The pink hearts, the matcha, the Barbie, for me doesn't bother me at all. You know, there are far more sexist things going on in the world than that, and actually a lot of girls like that stuff, so you know, and I'm also a girl from the 90s, and I have to be honest, I kind of miss the boorish sexism from the 80s and 90s, because I tell you what, right now, where has feminism got us?
Welcome to Monday's Daily Expresso. I'm JJ, and as always, I'm joined by the resplendent Belinda de Lucy to kickstart the week. Belinda, first of all, I thought I was the only celebrity you hung out with. And then I heard you've been hanging out with a sir.
I was so excited. This is like my dream come true came last week. I've been an avid fan of the Rolling Stones my whole life, even as a child bopping to the Sympathy for the Devil in the kitchen before school. And yes, last week he happened to be at a drink stew for celebrating Italian ballerinas, and I just made a beeline for him. Like I dropped all my English sort of sensibilities and nervousness, said hold my beer to my husband, and just targeted poor Sir Mick and went up and asked him if he wanted to shake his tail feathers with the ballerinas and do a dance off. It was very charming, very nice, and even took a photo with me, so I was really chuffed.
You've never once asked to take a picture with me.
Well, yes,
disappointing.
That's because I see you every week. It's a joy.
Fine, let's get started. Now, Shabana Mahmood has today set out her stall as the new hard woman of British politics with a deluge of new anti-immigration measures, which Labour hope will wrestle back some popularity after months of decline in the opinion polls. In what Labour are calling the most sweeping reforms to tackle illegal migration in modern times, Mahmood is planning to make a number of big changes. Here's some of the key headlines. She wants to impose Trump-style visa bans on 3 African countries if they fail to take back illegal migrants as part of these sweeping reforms. Refugee status will become temporary and subject to regular review. Asylum seekers will face a 20-year wait before they can apply for permanent settlement. And they want to use some AI technology that will tell you how old people are. Because I saw one over the weekend. This guy had a receding hairline, more back than mine is, right? And mine's a 40-year-old receding hairline. His hairline was back here. He had a much bigger stubble than me. His teeth, you could tell by his teeth he wasn't a kid, but he was claiming he's 16 years old.
And bearing in mind, these fully grown men get put into children's classrooms, and you don't need AI to decide whether someone is a child or not. Listen, I welcome the tough talk. The rhetoric is great. It normalises everything that Reform has been saying. You know, I feel less worried about the police knocking on my door now for saying the same thing as Shabana is saying. So I can applaud her for that. I mean, she almost sounds like a Reform supporter when she was talking about it. But we have to be really honest and clear about what's happening. The British have had a bellyful of politicians promising things they can't deliver. We had Boris promising to take back control of our borders, lie. We had Rishi saying, we're going to stop the boats, lie. Keir saying, we're going to smash the gangs, 1 in, 1 out. You mean 1,000 in, 1 out. It's all been a shambles. It's all utter codswallop that we are being fed, because you cannot deport people currently in the UK to the vast majority of those unsafe countries, if you like, with the ECHR and Labour's 1998 Human Rights Act. We can't even deport child rapists. As it is, the Tories couldn't even deport 2 grooming gang ringleaders from Rochdale, Kari Abdul Rauf and Adil Khan, both ringleaders of a gang that raped, tortured and abused 47 white working class girls as young as 12, got a handful of years in prison, barely nothing, and then in 2012 the government orchestrated a deportation order in 2012. Where are they now? Still here. Why? Because of the Human Rights Act challenges and the fact that Pakistan refuses to take back its rapists. And instead of saying, right, we'll do a Trump, Pakistan, we're going to stop foreign aid. We send you hundreds of billions. You're a nuclear power, weapons country. We'll put sanctions on. We'll triple the tariffs. Our government do nothing. Now, Trump, in the first 6 days he was in power, JJ, said to Colombia, if you don't take back your illegal immigrants, we're going to triple the tariffs. And straight away, Colombia surrendered. Do you really think Labour are going to say to countries like Pakistan and all the other countries around the world, listen, we're going to risk our voter base here and we're going to slap tariffs on you?
This is what Shabana Mahmood is suggesting, at least with Angola, Namibia and the DRC. She's suggesting that this is what they're going to start doing.
And we give them hundreds of millions in foreign aid, those 3 countries as well. Why haven't they done it already? This is just planning, by the way. So any legislation they want to bring in to soften the Human Rights Act is going to take years. She's going to face huge rebellion from her backbenchers. Can you imagine Labour backbenchers watching their preferred special preference group, which is asylum seekers? They literally think because you're asylum seeker, that makes you a good person by definition. They put them up on high, being marched onto a plane. They're not going to stand for that. There'll be civil war. Remember, it was Labour, 70 of their MPs signed a stop the deportation letter when a plane full of Jamaican serious criminals, the Tories were trying to deport them, and Labour 70 MPs signed a letter saying to stop them. It is, I mean, if Shabana wants to take her party on, fine, I think she'll lose, but without leaving the ECHR and without scrapping the case law in this country, nothing is going to be able to happen. We can't even deport an Albanian criminal because his child doesn't like foreign chicken nuggets. This is what is happening. And already, if you're a failed asylum seeker in this country, 70% get to stay. We only deport 30% of failed asylum seekers. So unless they change the law, nothing's going to happen. And they're committed to the ECHR. And I think it's only reform that are going to make those sweeping changes to allow this to actually happen.
But you say Labour are beholden by their voter base here. But we are seeing in the polls reform are surging way past them. Surely, okay, there's some areas where they're going to lose votes, but there's many more areas where people are going to say, no, Labour, enough is enough. We either do what we want or we're going to vote reform in.
The problem with Shabana making these promises, I'm not sure it's going to turn voters from reform to Labour. I mean, it was only 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was 2021, Shabana is filmed advocating for a general amnesty of illegal migrants. I mean, this was her just a couple of years ago. So it's the same with Boris. When Boris was mayor of London, he wanted to have an amnesty for illegal migrants in London. And then, of course, as soon as he gets into power, his true colours shine. As he says, we're going to, take back control. No, he didn't. He opened our doors even further to the world. So it is about trust. Do you trust Labour to back these plans? And the idea that you've got 20 years now as an illegal immigrant to stay in this country before you get right to remain. 20 years? Are they kidding? No, on your bike, love. As soon as you're here illegally, detain, deport, withdraw from the ECHR, scrap the Human Rights Act, which is a criminal's charter, by the way. It puts the interests of rapists and paedophiles and terrorists way above the interests of the British people. Home Office lawyers proved this in the Epping Hotel scandal, where they said the asylum seekers in the Epping Hotel, their rights are more important than the local Epping residents. So this is where they come. This is where they come from. So do you genuinely believe Shabana's going to get this through?
I don't think she'll get it through because I think too many Labour MPs will be against it. But I think she wants to. I think she has the intention to push it, and she's saying the right things. But ultimately, if Shabana was saying this as a Tory or as a Reform member, what do you think the public reaction would be to her?
Well, now if the Tories were saying it, I don't think they would believe it either, because the Tories have flip-flopped over asylum. In fact, it was the ECHR that stopped their Rwanda plan. So the idea the ECHR isn't going to stop what Shabana's doing. I don't think the Tory and Labour Party have really helped destroy this country. I think we've witnessed the unmaking of England under both those parties. They're dead in the water. Their infighting is insane. It's happening to Keir Starmer as it is. You think we're going to trust them? The Home Office don't even know who's coming into our country, who's coming out. They hand out British citizenship like Smarties, as if it doesn't even mean anything anymore. We need a complete reset. I would want to suspend all asylum for at least a year to 2 years so that we can start from the beginning again and put the safety and security of the British public first, and then offer a sanctuary to those fleeing death, not fleeing degrading treatment, which is, in the Human Rights Act, fleeing death. cap it at 5,000, make it women and children only for the first 10 years, and then invest in UN camps near the war zones. That's how you help people. We should end this mad resettlement of the world's disaffected men on our shores.
It was a wild weekend of rumours, dodgy emails and U-turns, but this time it was stateside as Donald Trump tried to manage explosive emails mentioning the president in the Epstein files. Although Trump and Epstein were photographed together decades ago, the president has always said the two men fell out long before Epstein's convictions. Now, emails released last week by a House committee showed Epstein, who died in jail in 2019. Epstein had said that Trump knew about the girls. Trump has flip-flopped between campaigning for the Epstein files to be released and calling them a Democratic smear campaign, but he's now backing them to be released again, saying House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. Belinda, should the Epstein files be released?
Absolutely. It's so juicy. I'm fascinated. I'm so curious. But I tell you what, I will not be watching the BBC for coverage over this. Who knows what doctored photos they'll have of poor Trump and Epstein. Yeah, I think this is a massive U-turn for Trump because he started out absolutely against revealing the files, which I don't think was a good look. And he's facing a rebellion in the Republican Party now against him because he has refused to advocate releasing them. He's now said, let's have them all. Let's release them all. My hands are clean. I've done nothing wrong. I'm nothing to hide from, which is actually what he should have done at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes, some emails mention his name between Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, suggesting that, in fact, it was an email between Epstein and Trump's biographer, where Epstein says, yes, Trump knew about the girls. But again, there's nothing apparently in any of the emails that show there's evidence that he's done any wrongdoing. I think we need to put this to rest. And I think the Republicans do too, because it's a massive distraction for Trump. It's a real stain on him the longer this goes on. So, yeah, release the files. Let us see which sort of lefty, self-righteous numbskulls like Lord Mandelson, who else is involved in this sort of thing. Of course, Bill Clinton is mentioned. Now, we all know he had a little shenanigans in the White House with Monica Lewinsky. He ain't no saint.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting what comes out, if anything comes out about him. Trump also mentioned Reid Hoffman, who's the co-founder of LinkedIn, Larry Summers, who's a former US treasurer, among many Democratic operatives. So it may actually work out. It may dent Trump a little bit, but it sounds like perhaps he might use it to expose the Democrats' involvement with Epstein. But we shall see. Interesting stuff, JJ.
Well, Trump said he was going to drain the swamp. That was during his first campaign. This would be a big old drain on the swamp. There's clearly Epstein was friends with a lot of rich and powerful men. And the only person who's in prison currently for any of the paedophiles and the paedophile rings is a woman. None of the powerful men have been held to account yet. So just naming them and saying, yes, these are the guys who went to the island, that should be seismic.
It's like the madam of a brothel gets taken in as opposed to all the punters, right? I can see why that is. And I've also, obviously mentioned before, it seems to be only British high-profile people that seem to have the spotlight on them. And it's now time to turn that spotlight over to the US. I think there is a big difference, though, in being photographed with Epstein, being friends with him before the conviction. I can't really blame anyone for that. He was a powerful and popular man, schmoozed with lots of famous people. But after the conviction, or any evidence of them going to these parties with that kind of thing, I think is useful for public interest, because it is, after all, a human trafficking case.
Absolutely. Go woke, go broke, or so they say. Sky Sports are learning this lesson the hard way after they were forced to ditch their female-targeted TikTok channel, Halo, just 3 days after its launch. This was following criticism that it was patronising and unbelievably sexist. Halo, which was described as the Lil Sis of Sky Sports by the broadcaster, launched on Thursday, but the channel, which was littered with pink hearts referencing hot girl walks, matcha and Barbies, was greeted with instant derision. They've now buried the channel and basically pretended this never happened. Are you into sports, Belinda?
I'm into rugby. I go to Twickenham as much as I can.
And if you were going to go to Twickenham to watch the rugby and they were putting subtitles on in pink, and they're saying, "Hey, hot girl summer girls,
Hey.
get a try."
Matcha,
Matcha.
Barbie.
Yeah, would that make you more interested in going and watching the rugby?
Look, I think there are two parts to this. I think having this is a TikTok account. It's meant to appeal to women's sports fans, right? Young female, because TikTokers tend to be young.
Yeah.
So I think they were appealing. The pink hearts, the matcha, the Barbie, for me doesn't bother me at all. You know, there are far more sexist things going on in the world than that. And actually, a lot of girls like that stuff. So, you know, and I'm also a girl from the 90s. And I have to be honest, I kind of miss the boorish sexism from the 80s and 90s. Because I tell you what, right now, where has feminism got us? Women are working full time, having all the kids, doing all the housework, men in our sports, men in our prisons, you know, men, it's in our changing rooms. This is where feminism has got women now. So I kind of look rather nostalgically back at the sort of simple little bits of sexism back in the 90s. I think I would still swap to be back there than how feminism is working out for women now. Yes, of course, it's sort of stereotypical young girl stuff. My girls are all drawn to, I had one tomboy and 3 girls, and, you know, most of them were drawn to nice, like, fun stuff, get them into sports. I think the sexist part was dumbing down. And the dumbing down of, you know, women can't understand sports, so we need sort of special, lower standard to understand sport. I mean, that's terrible, because they don't just do it to women, they do it to black, brown. You mentioned it, it's the standard of lower expectations. You don't have to get 3 A's to get into university to study engineering if you're a woman, because women can't cope. You know, this happened in Oxford. They do the same with black minorities. You don't have to get the same grades. All of that is really racist and sexist. It should be the same bar for everyone. I just thought it was so funny they even dared to do this in this climate. I thought it was quite nice to go back to it. We've even got Ray, the famous British brilliant singer I'm such a fan of, her latest hit saying, you know, "Where the hell is my husband?" It's a song all about how she needs a husband. It's going, I'm like, yeah, bring it back. You know, liberal feminism has caused so much trouble.
I think Sky had their heart in the right place, but like with boys who are interested in football, you don't have to put dinosaurs and trains in the captions to make boys interested in football. And I think for actual football fans who are girls, who are interested in football, I don't think they need to have Barbies and stuff associated with it. They just want to watch football.
But do you know who the team was behind it? All women's team. And still men get blamed for it.
No way!
It was all women who decided this. Absolutely. So, you know, before anyone gets too high and mighty about, this is sexist, it was the girls.
It was women doing it.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, I don't take it too seriously. And, I kind of miss the 90s.
Well, I think that is a good point. We basically are saying women stay out of sport, full stop. Let the men decide what you're interested in. Yes, thank you, Belinda. Very good. Right, moving on.
Thanks a lot for that, JJ. Not at all, by the way. I love women in sports. Come on.
Right. A police force has admitted that the arrest of 2 parents over messages in a school WhatsApp group was unlawful and has paid the couple 20 grand in compensation. Maxie Allen and his partner Rosalind Levine were arrested on suspicion of harassment and malicious communications following a trivial dispute about their child's school. Now, the incident ignited a nationwide debate after the couple were searched and locked up in a cell for 8 hours after their school reported them to the local bobby. The arrests followed a series of disputes between the parents and the school over several months, resulting in Allen and Levine being banned from the establishment. And then in June last year, the school lodged a complaint with the force over the parents' social media campaign. This was Cowley Primary School. So Cowley Primary School complained again in December due to persistent calls and emails from the couple. However, Allen and Levine maintained they had contacted the school frequently because of their daughter Sasha's needs. Sasha has epilepsy, she's neurodivergent, and is registered disabled. This is just nuts. It was a difficult story for me to follow, but essentially the police have demonstrated once again severe overreach.
Yeah, they're using criminal law to silence parents from criticising a head teacher. And I mean, this whole thing is so much more frightening than just this one episode, because this is becoming a running theme. Arresting people for hurting other people's feelings, or for hurty thoughts, or this happened to Graham Linehan, the Irish comedian, creator of Father Ted. Again, his plane landed in Heathrow. 5 armed officers grabbed him off the tarmac, searched him, put him in a cell for jokes he made about what women should do in the loo if a man comes in, where they should punch them, right? That's all he did. Arrested by 5 armed police officers. Now, in my opinion, these police officers that do this to these parents, to Graham Linehan, and so many more, they know they have no case. but they choose the timing to make it as dramatic as possible to put the living daylights of fear into the general British public about what we can and can't say. Because in Graham's case, the police could have easily gone to his house at night, but they wanted to do this spectacular, force of power on him as soon as he landed at the airport. So humiliating. His blood pressure was so high after the jail experience, he had to go straight to A&E.
Yeah.
This has a massive impact. So these poor parents in this case, I heard the mum talk today, and she was saying when she saw was it 5 or 6 police officers come to her door, she thought her daughter died. She thought something so horrific must have happened.
Yeah.
Opening that door for her. The trauma put on the British public by the zealotry of the police. They're so obsessed with the new authoritarian powers they've got. This is all top down. I do feel slightly sorry for the coppers on the beat, because they're all told to do this.
Yeah.
And the parents fear, and then they sitting in a jail for 8 hours. They were taken away from their daughter who was crying, all because of hurty words about a head teacher on WhatsApp. This is a total breach of duty. I think the police shouldn't have just paid 20 grand. Those in charge of the decision should have been sacked. It is that serious because it has this chilling impact. It makes the rest of the British public think, I can't write in WhatsApp groups that I don't like a school or how the school's treating my child anymore, because if I get reported, that whole experience, it's traumatizing the British public. The whole hate crime, thought crime, hurty words things need to be completely scrapped. The criminal law should never be used as a tool to silence free speech or to side with one political ideology over another. It happened to Alison Pearson, Daily Telegraph columnist, who had 2 police officers at her door because she put a tweet up, and she had to go through that whole rigmarole. It's traumatizing, and the police have stepped over a red line here, and there should be more than 20 grand compensation.
What does it say, though, about the public? Because it's ultimately the school, headmaster or whoever has reported these parents to the police and said, I'm being harassed. They're saying things about me that are disparaging. I want to file a police report. So the police have to follow up on it, obviously. But what does it say about the fact that the public are now in a position where they feel, yep, didn't like what you said there, I'm going to report you to the cops?
Well, I don't think COVID helped, because remember during COVID, snitches were encouraged.
Boris said, if you see people out,
become one of those people that feels so against every sort of English bone in my body that you're snitching and on neighbours and calling up to the police over something someone said. So I think that didn't help. I think the woke climate of that feelings are more important than facts, that words are violence, all this rubbish that's shoved down our kids' throats all the time, making them complete and utter fragile, nervous wrecks, if someone disagrees with them. I also think people were like, actually, the police can get involved. I can scare someone never to disagree with me again. Because once the police has turned up at your door, do you think you're going to be brave enough to say anything else after that?
Yeah.
It is pure theatrics. The police know they don't have case. They didn't have a case against Graham Linehan. They didn't have a case against Alison. It was all dramatic theatrics to scare the British public into silence on some issues. And that is Orwellian. That's authoritarianism. And it needs to be absolutely rejected by the British public.
You've got 3 daughters?
4.
I had heard, I think I saw a report about it in one of the papers, that you got arrested by the police once for smashing up your kid's school or something. That
was it. One of the many times I've spent in jail, JJ. Listen, I've always said to the girls, if mummy will probably end up in jail, for a couple of reasons. 1, defending free speech. 2, defending our borders. And 3, defending single-sex rights for women. I said, if I have to go, I'm going to go.
And 4, stalking Sir Mick Jagger.
And 4, I'm sure he's put out a complaint already.
Grand. Right, Belinda, quick question. Do you think it's too early to start Christmas now?
No. I'm one of those really annoying Christmas elf hyperactive, on sugar people. As soon as Guy Fawkes night is over, I do start with the Christmas music. I try and go to church as much as possible for the carols singing, the wonderful Christmas carols, and the Christingle service, the oranges with the candles and all that sort of thing. I love the music. We've already got 2 snowmen up in our house.
Wow, good
with
grief.
lights on.
Okay, good.
But
Big house.
I have a house full of children, and when you have kids, it does make it more magical.
It's also going to make it more expensive for you because shoppers are cutting back on their pre-Christmas food spending budget. Karen Betts of the Food and Drink Federation blamed higher taxes and government red tape for pushing up prices in the shops. She claimed that businesses and consumers are holding back on spending whilst wait to see the impact of the budget coming out on the 26th of November. And, we expect it to increase taxes onto households and firms. So, yeah, your Christmas lunch is going to be ridiculous. How much do you spend? You got 4 kids, a big husband, a big appetite, that man. How much are you spending on a Christmas lunch?
Well, I'm not going to reveal what we spend. I mean, we try and get as many discounts as we can. We've just had a link emailed to us from our local butchers with 30% discount off meat for Christmas Day. So we're going to use that link.
That's good.
So I definitely go online and do vouchers or whatever those little places are that you can get discounts. I'm not surprised people are holding back at the moment. They've got this 26th of November sort of Taxageddon, nightmare before Christmas, that Reeves is going to put forward again. It will be another job-stifling, economic doom-mongering kind of a budget. It's going to hit homeowners more than likely. Business under Labour's economic disastrous policies so far, 14,000 shops have closed, 170,000 jobs have gone off the payroll since Labour's come into power. Half of them are under 25. So that's our youth, suddenly being out of work because Labour are making it impossible for small companies to hire staff, making it far too expensive, all the red tape. In fact, the representative from the food and drinks industry who's saying, people aren't spending any money in November and we rely on this quarter.
Yeah.
She blames the high taxes, the high regulation and red tape that Labour are putting on small businesses right now. And it's not only that that's making food and drink more expensive, it's theft. Because that, the number of shops and food and drink places that have people going in and just swiping hundreds of pounds worth of stuff every day, that all gets put on the customer. Well, nothing's been done about that. That's going to continue. I feel really sorry for the small businesses. And bearing in mind, 99.2% of businesses in the UK employ 50 or under people. They're all small and medium-sized businesses, which is why Reform set up this new group called Small Business Group for Reform, which is trying to tackle all the problems that are happening in our economy for small businesses right now. But I'm not going to be a Scrooge about it, JJ. I'm as excited about Christmas. I've still got my stocking from 1976. Just said how old I am, but plenty of rings around this tree. And we do a lot of recycling, and we're going to do the paper chain Blue Peters in our kitchen. We always do that kind of decoration rather than spend money on it.
You know how much it costs for beef Wellington this year? It feeds 6 people. It's from M&S. It is from their collection range with Tom Kerridge, so it's pretty nice. But for 6 people, a beef Wellington costs, guess how much?
40? 45?
45 what?
Pounds.
Are you crazy? It's 195 quid. £195.
Mark's
40. Who does the shopping in your house?
Shame on you! I can't believe that.
Yeah.
How very dare they? That's such an insult
Nearly
to the customers.
£200. But this is it. The cost of everything is going up.
That's insane. Oh, well, I don't... Listen, maybe we're just going to have to bear thin gruel for the next couple of years. I mean, Nigel's predicted an election, hopefully in 2027, when we can restart the economy back then. So we just have to survive till then. But I wish everyone such a lovely Christmas on whatever they get and whatever they buy and trying to make ends meet.
I'm glad you keep saying Christmas and not the holidays.
Not
either,
winter, winter festivals.
Yeah.
No, it's Christmas. It's Jesus Christ. It is the incredible Bethlehem Nazareth story of the Nativity. Make sure you're getting that nativity play in school. That was one of our big things when we got look for schools for kids, that they did all of that. Not sure it's allowed anymore, is it?
Oh, my kids' school do it. I made sure as well. Belinda, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Wonderful episode. That is all we have time for today. Thank you for watching the Daily Expresso. Join us again tomorrow at the same time. Bye-bye.